Good afternoon, YouTube. Today, we come to the interesting topic of who Trump should pick um, for the position of Treasury Secretary. Um, and apparently, the choices are Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick. So let's get into this right away. I'm just going to use Wikipedia a little bit here to get some references. So Howard Lut, Scott Bessent is first. Educated at Yale University in 1984 with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. While at Yale, he wrote and was the editor for the Yale Daily News and president of the Wolf's Head, one of Yale's big three senior societies, and treasurer. Um, I find that disturbing already because, as I've seen in the past, um, that kind of Yale affiliation has proven that old friends still have influence and sway over the subject who is in that so called fraternity. That's speculation for me, of course, but that's just my opinion. You don't have to accept it. One of the things that stood out for me was this. Um, Bissett interned with Jim Rogers. After graduation, Bissett worked at Brown Brothers Harriman and others. Bissett joined the George Soros Fund Management, which is a privately held American investment management firm, and it was currently structured as a family office, but formerly as a hedge fund. The firm was founded in 1970 by George Soros, which is a big problem. That right away is a negative for Bissett. The fact that he was affiliated with George Soros is already very troublesome. Bissett joined the Soros Fund Management (SFM) in 1991 and was a partner there throughout the 1990s, eventually becoming the head of the London office. So he held a key position with that Soros Fund Management for many years. Uh, in 92, Bissett was a leading member of the team whose bet regarding the collapse of the British pound garnered over 1 billion for the firm. Um, Here's another one, Key Square Group. Bissett founded Key Square Group in 2015 with Mike Germino, who had been the global head of the capital markets at SFM. Key Square uses geopolitics and economics to make macro investments. Key Square received a $2 billion anchor investment from George Soros. At the end of 2017, Key Square's assets were worth $5.1 billion. Bloomberg in May 2018 reported that Key Square had mostly outperformed rival macro managers and continued to generate significant investor interest. As part of a pre-arranged deal, the firm returned the Soros capital as it took in other assets. Its investors included Australia's sovereign wealth fund. So, if you are watching this video, I hope that you know that Musk didn't endorse Bissett. Musk endorsed the other guy, Howard Lutnick. Let's see if there's anything that could tell us why he did that. Howard William Lutnick is an American billionaire businessman, succeeded Bernard Gerald Cantor as the head of the Cantor Fitzgerald. Um, Lutnick is the chairman and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and BGC Group. After losing 658 employees, including his brother, in the September 11 attacks, Lutnick survived the subsequent collapse of the towers on the ground and has since become known for his charitable efforts through the Cantor Fitzgerald Relief Fund, which helps to aid families of the victims of the attacks and natural disasters. Okay. Howard Lutnick was born into a Jewish family on July 14, 1961, in Jericho on Long Island, New York City, and is the son of the late Solomon Lutnick, a history professor at Queens College, and the late Jane Lutnick, a painter and sculptor. Um, okay, so they talk a little bit about his father dying after a nurse treated him for colon and lung cancer, accidentally giving him 100 times the dose of chemotherapy drugs. Um, okay, let's find out his education. Lutnick, then 18, was forced to hire a lawyer to settle the debt his father left behind. The president and dean of Haverford, an institution priding itself on a Quaker heritage, called Lutnick a week after his father's death and offered him a full scholarship for his education there. Lutnick went on to graduate from Haverford College with a degree in economics in 1983. Lutnick joined Cantor Fitzgerald in 1983. At the same time, he graduated from college, developed a warm relationship with the firm's founder, Bernard Cantor, as his personal mentor. In 91, Lutnick was named president and CEO of the company, and he became chairman in 1996. Lutnick placed a high value on technology early on, and in 99 made the decision to take eSpeed, an electronic trading subsidiary of Cantor Fitzgerald, public. This electronic trading system required no brokers and was part of the reason why Cantor Fitzgerald was able to remain afloat when 70% of the brokers in their New York office, everyone who was in the office that morning, was killed in the September 11 attacks. Uh, so let's have a look here quickly at his education, the Quaker heritage. Quakers are people who belong to the Religious Society of Friends, a historically Protestant Christian set of denominations. Members refer to each other as friends after John chapter 15, verse 14 in the Bible, and originally others referred to them as Quakers because the founder of the movement, George Fox, told the judge to quake before the authority of God. This one makes me already um, favorable toward Lutnick, and the reason is his Christian education. I don't care what anybody says. The formality of morals and ethics is very important in a person, and if they don't have that kind of background, then I, by experience, the secularized person of today that I've seen is not valuable for society. And most Democrats are the proof of that. Atheistic, uh, and immoral, and because they don't believe in God. You can have them swear on a Bible to tell the truth, they'll lie in front of a committee, anybody, a judge. Um, we need to return to the, I don't even have to say it, but it comforts me that his background is already that kind of, there should be theology and ethics behind there already. Lutnick placed a high value on technology. We already read that. Let's have a look here. This move enables the two entities to grow, but required Cantor to borrow $400 million in loans and go into debt for the first time as a company in order to properly fund BGC's initial growth. 2008, Lutnick oversaw the merger of BGC Partners and eSpeed, a deal valued at $1.3 billion. In 2024, through his firm BGC Group, Lutnick began efforts to launch a futures exchange, the FMX Future Exchange. The venture attracted investors such as Morgan Stanley, Tower Research Capital, and Wells Fargo. Now they talk more about the time of the September 11 attacks. Lutnick to me is a survivor. Much more than that, he's a very clever individual, given the fact that he was able to save his company ahead of um, that part where they were talking about that he was, I don't want to say diversifying his company, but depending on technology here, Cantor Fitzgerald was able to remain afloat with 70% of the brokers in their New York office, because of his electronic trading system requiring no brokers. So he was ahead of it. Lutnick seems to be a little bit of a visionary. He wants to advance quickly, but not exactly advance quickly. There's a vision about how he wants to modernize trading, as far as I can see here. And because of his vision, um, his company was able to survive a horrific loss of life, but also the loss of qualified people. That were, any other business as I see it would have probably gone down, but it looks like his business seemed to survive because of his vision for the future, and the ability that he was able to use the technology to replace his brokers that died. Um, Global Charity Day each year on September 11th, the business day to September 11th, if that falls on the weekend. Cantor Fitzgerald and its affiliate BGC Partners hold a Global Charity Day event and pledge 100% of the day's revenue to charity. Since 2005, Global Charity Day events have raised approximately $113 million. Celebrity sports stars and other notable individuals take part in the event on Cantor's and BGC's trading floors by speaking with clients throughout the day. Previous events participants include President George W. Bush Clinton, Bill Clinton, Rudy Giuliani, Lady Gaga, Venus Williams, Eli Manning, Susan Sarandon, and Prince Harry, who holds the record for the largest single global charity day trade. Haverford College in 2012, Lutnick was appointed to Haverford College Board of Managers following a term of 6 years as vice chair. Lutnick endowed 5 student scholarships at Haverford and funded or led the efforts to fund several campus institutions: Cantor Fitzgerald Art Gallery, Douglas B. Gardner 83 Integrated Athletic Center, Gary Lutnick Tennis and Track Center, Lutnick Library, and he has donated $65 million so far. Hurricane Sandy relief. Hurricane Sandy hit New York and New Jersey in 2012 October. Lutnick pledged $10 million to aid families who were severely affected by the storm. Cantor Fitzgerald adopted 19 schools in communities that were hardly hit and distributed $1,000 debit cards to nearly 10,000 families in the neighborhoods in Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, Staten Island, and New Jersey. Senator Charles Schumer and other public figures appeared with Lutnick at several schools. Lutnick, with the assistance of his wife, Allison's sister, Eddie, and the team of volunteers and employees, personally distributed the debit cards to parents beginning at Public School 256 in Far Rockaway. Oklahoma tornado relief. After the 2013 Moore tornado killed dozens of people and caused an estimated $2 billion of damage, Lutnick appeared on Piers Morgan Live on CNN and pledged that his companies and Cantor Relief would donate $2 million to victims of the disaster. Fundraising for Donald Trump on May 17th, 2019, Lutnick hosted a fundraiser for Donald Trump at his home in Manhattan, raising some $5 million. On August 2nd, 2024, Lutnick hosted a fundraiser for Trump and his supporters in a marquee at his home in Bridgehampton, New York. 2 weeks later, Trump tapped him and Linda McMahon as co-chairs of his 2024 presidential transition team. On October 27, 2024, Lutnick spoke at a Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. And then they talk about various awards. I'll tell you what I see when I look at this individual. This man is a survivor. Surely the events of September 11th is something that he carries with him all of his life and has made him charitable to this, you might say, natural disaster relief funding, and charitable in many other instances. I like the BGC Partners Global Charity Day event that they're holding every year. So again, another charitable, I don't want to say foundation, but charitable day. This individual, to me, seems to have embedded himself because of the suffering that he's been through and that he has to survive through. And also, I think his educational background, he is a very charitable man, very charitable individual, and encouraging others to do the same. And he has a love for art and athleticism. Otherwise, pardon me, and also he donated to create a library. Education, definitely, he values that. I see a much more charitable individual than Scott Bessent. I do. Okay, so it's not as though Bessent is without philanthropy, but between the two of them, I would say that Lutnick is far more generous when it comes to charitable and reaching out to people, especially people who have been affected by September 11 attacks and also the natural disasters that occurred that I've mentioned. And of course, the bright one is the Global Charity Day. I really enjoy that. That's quite good. Um, just to get on the subject of who Trump should pick, I'm with Musk. I think that Lutnick is actually a fairly fine man, a good man for the job. He's a charitable individual, and I think he might be just the right man for the job. Maybe. Yeah. We cannot predict what Trump will do, but one thing that he should learn from his last time in office is be very, very, very careful about who you're picking around you. Pick people who are completely um, going to follow you. Don't be a fool and pick a person like the head of the Republicans before. Um, what's his name again? Mitch McConnell. Don't pick like with Mike Pompeo. Don't pick people like that who are fundamentally against you, and always will be. Um, Trump has very little time. 4 years is going to pass very fast, and whether people admit it or not, 4 years will pass in like at the blink of an eye. I'm telling you. I used to think, when Trump was defeated the last election, 4 years. Yeah, it was a long time in the sense, but Trump put it nicely. It's a year. Pardon me. It was 4 years, then 2 years, and 1 year, then 10 months, whatever he said, and then 10 days. Time passed quickly, and Trump has a lot on his plate, a lot to fix America, a lot to fix the world, and he doesn't have time to have people against him. He needs to select individuals who will be fundamentally with him, and if the need comes, they must obey when he gives an order. It's not, I'm going to put it up for this, for that, submit it to the House to be debate. No, we don't have time. There's no time. Um, I want to pick the most qualified individual, and as far as their education goes, I would say that Lutnick is probably more successful, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe Besant has been, in terms of wealth, much more successful. I don't know, but I think that's the reason. That is because Lutnick is actually more charitable. More of his money goes to helping people, um, and so I think that it's important to keep in mind that Lutnick. This is a man who saw September 11th, and I'm sure it still affects him to this day. This is a good person to have a moral, uh, for the job, morality, ethics, charity. I think that's an excellent combination for a treasurer. So yeah, one also has to take into account how much Musk knows. Uh, he's he's not a simple guy. He's I would say his favorite thing is to look at data. Uh, because when he purchased Twitter, now X,